Your fauna!
This is the life-threatening danger you spoke of?
This is the shattered core you claimed?
Her temperature is normal. Her breathing is steady.
As the Lord's Concord, you dared to deceive me.
Using your newborn daughter as bait for a jealous tantrum.
You disgust me.
Looking at his furious face, my entire body turned cold.
No! Ronan, listen to me! Just moments ago, she was not like this. It was Vanessa! She came in just now. She fed something to Modell.
But Ronan did not believe me for even a second. So I turned to the doctor beside us, as if he were my last saving straw.
Doctor, speak up! You clearly told me. Had been struck by a forbidden poison. You said it was destroying her core, and she would not survive half a month.
I lay on the stone bed of the sacred infirmary, trembling violently. Every doctor in the Wind Kingdom was on edge for my sake. Yet my husband, Lord Ronan, was nowhere to be seen. I was used to his coldness. But at this moment, having gambled my life and burned my manor to bear this child, a ridiculous shred of hope still flickered in my heart. Years ago, when I was in a desperate situation, the young Ronan saved my life. That kindness became my lifelong obsession. But he had no idea that I was the sole pure-blooded daughter of the High Elven King. When I met with disaster in my youth, I was rescued by him, the lord of a mere mid-tier elfin kingdom. To repay that debt, I concealed my supreme identity, even using a forbidden ritual to seal away the radiant wings of nature on my back that symbolized supreme divine authority. I willingly became an ordinary female elf with no background, marrying into his territory. Under a false name for years, I remained gentle and submissive, using my own pure-blooded mana to nourish his family, all for a sliver of his affection. Yet, I could never warm a heart of stone. In Ronan's heart, there was only ever room for his first love, Vanessa. The agony intensified as the mana and bloodlines within my body surged in a violent reverse flow, but I held onto my last strength. Yet, all that arrived was a cold, ruthless message from a god.
My lady, the Lord is busy with official matters and cannot come. Please deliver the child on your own, and do not delay the Lord's business.
At that moment, a self-deprecating laugh escaped my lips. This life of mine and the child in my womb never mattered to him. After an entire day and night of deathly struggle, a soft, fragile wail finally shattered the silence of the infirmary. This was my daughter, a precious treasure, bought at the cost of all my mana. I named her Iris. At that exact moment, my personal guard rushed in to report.
My lady! The Lord has finished his external affairs and has returned to the main manor in his unicorn sacred carriage.
Within my deadlined heart, a tiny spark suddenly ignited. I instinctively assumed that no matter how cold or selfish he might be, at least he would at least want to look at his newborn flesh and blood. Forcing my exhausted, severely depleted body up, I carefully held my daughter in her swaddling clothes, making my way toward the promenade of the main temple to see my husband. But just as I reached the promenade and looked through the lush courtyard of the sacred elven tree, I froze instantly, the blood in my veins turning to ice. My husband stood there, tall and elegant in his black robes, and right beside him stood a woman, the first love he had yearned for and never forgotten. It was Vanessa. What struck me like a bolt from the blue was that in front of them stood a little elfin boy, roughly 3 years old, with long, pointed ears and a pair of eyes that flashed with a cunning disguised as innocence. Countless absurd possibilities flashed through my mind. My hands shook uncontrollably from shock and rage, but I forced myself to stand my ground, enduring the tearing pain of the postpartum mana reverse flow. Vanessa looked up and spotted me, her mouth curving into a flitting, provocative smirk. She intentionally leaned closer into Ronan's embrace, her voice soft yet dripping with malice.
Ronan,
So she's the one who stole my man and my title while I was away? Tenderness instantly flooded Ronan's eyes as he wrapped his arm around her. He comforted her softly, even placing a lingering kiss upon her forehead, right in front of me.
When he turned to me, his tone was piercingly cold and dismissive.
Think nothing of it, Vanessa. You are my true love. I have never loved her. She is nothing more than a tool to manage the tribe.
Ronan, look closely. This is the daughter I just risked my life to give you. Look at her, she was just born. Look how beautiful she is.
Ronan cast a brief, indifferent glance downward. In his eyes, there was not a shred of paternal emotion, only naked disgust and annoyance. He swiftly averted his gaze, as though looking at his own flesh and blood for even a second longer would defile his relationship with Vanessa. Vanessa's gaze locked onto the infant in my arms, a flash of venom crossing her eyes. Promptly, she lifted her pitiful face, gazing up at Ronan with a trembling sob.
Ronan, she has already borne a child for the tribe. Then what about our Jasper? He followed me, wandering among foreign kingdoms, and suffered for 3 long years. He is your eldest son, the future heir of the Wind Kingdom.
Looking at that 3-year-old elfin child clinging to their side, I felt as if my soul had been struck by lightning. It turned out that my suspicion was actually the truth.
What exactly is going on here?
Ronan looked down at me, entirely devoid of guilt, and let out a righteous, cold snort.
Good, you saw it. Saves me the trouble of explaining. When Vanessa left 3 years ago, she was already pregnant with my child! For these 3 years, she raised Jasper alone among foreign kingdoms, enduring endless grievance. Now that she has returned, I must make it them properly, restoring everything that belongs to them 1,000 times over!
I stared at the picture-perfect family of 3 before me, as a boundless despair swallowed me like a tidal wave. Just as I was on the verge of collapsing, Ronan's mother, Elodie, walked over hoarsely, flanked by attendants. 3-year-old Jasper was incredibly sweet-talked, twitching his delicate little elven ears. He immediately ran over on his short legs and tightly hugged Elodie's leg.
Grandma, I finally get to see you. Mother said you are the most benevolent and noble elder in the entire kingdom.
Elodie, who was extremely superstitious about bloodlines and male esters, melted instantly. She gathered Jasper into her arms, treating him like her ultimate treasure. Seizing the moment, Vanessa leaned into Ronan's embrace, weeping with feigned grievance.
It's all my fault. If I had been stronger,
Your perfect grandson wouldn't have spent 3 years starving in exile.
Elodie's heart ached for them. She snapped her head around to look at me with my deathly pale face and my weakly wailing daughter, her eyes instantly turning into daggers of piercing disgust.
You nearly died just to produce a magicless, useless girl? What a pathetic waste! Pack up that defective brat and drag yourselves to the Withen Tower at the border right now! I won't let you bring your bad luck near my precious grandson.
Ronan, Iris is your flesh and blood too. How can you just let them trample all over us?
but Ronan's face remained completely indifferent, his tone dripping with disdain.
Mother is right. Jasper is the future and hope of Wind Kingdom. The daughter you gave birth to has a dull divine mark. She is utterly unworthy of living in the main manor. Going to the tower is your only option.
Vanessa threw a provocative glance my way, squeezing her throat to spit out the most poison words. Loser. Since you possess no noble bloodline.
Staying here will only bring you self-inflicted humiliation.
Looking at their hypocritical, I clenched my fingers, and the very last ember of gratitude within me was completely. The cold wind wowled through the withered tower, a place that never saw a single ray of moonlight. I held my frail little daughter close, huddling in the corner of the freezing stone wall. Having barely survived childbirth, and with my mana completely burned out, my chest felt as if it were being torn apart by 10,000 winds.
Just when I was completely helpless and desperate, the heavy wooden door of the tower was suddenly pushed open, and Ronan walked in, silhouetted against the light. In that single instant, a ridiculous shred of hope actually flared up once more in my deadland heart. He was the child's father. Had he finally softened, coming to bring some mana, to ward off the cold, or to take my daughter and me back, forcing my mana-depleased body up? My pale lips trembled.
Did you come to see Iris? She caught a chill, and the divine mark on her forehead is growing weaker and weaker. Please, save her.
But before I could even get close, Ronan took a disgusted step backward,
Seraphana,
as if the child and I were some
I only
kind of
came here
filth.
to warn you. Stay in your withered tower quietly. Sign this declaration relinquishing your rights as the primary mistress, and don't try any clever tricks.
I felt as though I had been struck by lightning. Taking a shocked step back, I stared firmly at the man I had loved with my very life for 3 years.
You came all the way to this desolate place, not to cast a single glance at your own daughter, but merely to force me to give up my position. And to warn me?
Ronan let out a cold laugh, his eyes filled with arrogance and a fierce protectiveness for Vanessa.
Vanessa is kind-hearted, and she suffered terribly while wandering among foreign kingdoms with our child. I will not allow anyone to disrupt Jasper's upbringing. I am warning you. Put away that jealous face of yours. Stay where you belong, and do not provoke Vanessa and her son. If I discover that you dare to secretly harm them, or attempt to steal the resources that belong to Jasper, I will absolutely show you no mercy!
In the darkness, my daughter let out a faint, protesting cry. Ronan, however, did not bother to spare even a glance from the corner of his eye. He turned and departed resolutely, the heavy iron door slamming shut with a resounding thud. Holding my child, I collapsed into the freezing mud, laughing at my own stupidity. He came only to warn me.
The night sky hung low as the freezing wind raged through the dead silence of the withered tower, preventing even a single slimmer of moonlight from penetrating the darkness.
I had burned through the vast majority of my mana during childbirth. The magic within my body had completely dried up. I could only hold my little princess tightly in my arms, using my own faint body heat to provide warmth for my infant, who was running a continuous low fever inside her swaddling clothes. Yet at this very moment, inside the Wind Kingdom's main temple, there was a completely different scene of brilliant lights, music, and extravagant luxury. Vanessa and her son sat on a soft couch covered in the rarest luminescent beast skins, basking in the attention and adoration of all the high-ranking elves in the kingdom. 3-year-old Jasper fluttered the tiny green elven wings that had just begun to develop on his back, holding an exquisite elven sacred berry in his hands, his face completely smeared with juice. Eleda sat high upon her throne, grinning from ear to ear, her eyes overflowing with a doting pride. Watching this warm and harmonious scene, the more Eleda looked at this chubby grandson, the more pleasing he seemed to her eye. Stroking the staff that symbolized her power as the High Priestess, she impatiently turned to prompt my husband, Ronan, who was standing beside her.
Ronan, Vanessa and her son have wandered among foreign kingdoms for years, enduring endless hardships. Now my precious eldest grandson is already 3 years old, and the wind-attributed mana within his body is so abundant. How can he continue to stay in the guest room so illegitimately? Tonight, you must have Vanessa and Jasper officially move into the Lord's main manor, into the bedchambers that rightfully belong to the primary mistress and the heir!
Ronan lowered his eyes, looking at Vanessa's adoration-filled face, as she leaned coyly against him, and then at the child, who was sweetly calling him father. The scales in his heart had already tipped completely. Without a shred of hesitation, he nodded his agreement coldly on the spot.
Mother is right. The best location in the main manor should naturally be reserved for the heir who truly carries the excellent bloodline of our kingdom.
Seeing her son agree so readily, Eloi's face flushed with even more delight. Standing up hauntily while leaning on her staff, she addressed all the tribal high officials present in a grand, supreme tone.
Not only that, Wind Kingdom has thrived to this day, and our bloodline is supreme. Jasper is exceptionally bright, displaying astonishing magical talent at such a tender age. He deserves the recognition of all kingdoms! I propose that in 3 days, we hold the most grand and magnificent official announcement celebration for 3-year-old Jasper. We shall high-profilely declare him as the primary heir of our Wind Kingdom's future!
In 3 days, Jasper would be declared the primary heir. Following her move into the main manor, Vanessa began to carry herself entirely as the queen of the Wind Kingdom. Dressed in extravagant silks, she glided through the temple flanked by her entourage, soaking in the endless, shallow flattery. Yet a stubborn sliver of anxiety remained buried deep in her chest. Whenever night fell, she would catch Ronan standing on the balcony, staring with a conflicted expression towards that dark, desolate, withered tower. Though he spoke with absolute coldness, subconsciously, he still harbored a faint trace of worry for my baby and me, a worry he refused to admit even to himself. This lingering gaze made Vanessa's jealousy and paranoia grow wild. As long as my daughter and I were breathing, her position and Jasper's future would never be safe. An opportunity presented itself sooner than expected. Early this morning, desperate to give my frail daughter a single drop of clean water, my completely helpless self was forced to drag my broken body out of the tower, heading deep into the woods to harvest pure spring water filtered by ancient divine marks. Learning of this, Vanessa's eyes turned ice cold. She knew her moment had arrived. She quietly dismissed the guards around the main manor, taking only a few of her most ruthless confidants, as she slipped into the dark, abandoned, withered tower. The wooden door creaked open, letting in the piercing chill. Vanessa stepped over the debris, advancing slow pace by slow pace, until she stopped right in front of the primitive stone bed. Inside her swaddling clothes, newborn Iris was sleeping soundly. Though her little face was pale, the faint golden divine mark shimmering on her forehead radiated an undeniable nobility and purity, a mark that made Vanessa's eyes burn with pure envy. You pathetic little freak. You think you're worthy of Ronan's blood? If you want to blame anyone, blame your useless mother. The mask of innocence slipped from Vanessa's face, her eyes twisting with pure malice. From her wide sleeve, she slowly pulled out a porcelain vial that emitted an eerie green glow. Inside was a forbidden, lethal toxin she had purchased at an exorbitant price from the black market. Soul-eating elixir, specifically designed to dissolve a newborn elf's mana core and cause their soul to rot away inch by inch. With a trembling hand, she popped the cork and violently clamped her fingers over my baby's fragile jaw. The sharp pain forced my sleeping princess to snap her eyes open, letting out a weak, agonizing cry. But Vanessa was entirely unfazed. With a distorted, demonic sneer, she forced the entire bottle of icy corrosive poison straight down my infant's tender throat. When I returned to the withered tower, thoroughly exhausted, and clutching that tiny container of pure spring water tightly to my chest, what greeted me was not the gentle sound of my daughter's breathing, but a deathly silence. My heart skipped a beat, and a boundless panic instantly seized me in a death grip. I practically crawled and scrambled my way toward that freezing stone bed.
Iris, Mommy is back.
The moment my trembling hands pulled back the swaddling clothes, the sight before me caused me to drop into an abyss of ice. Her originally pink little face was now completely white, even faintly tinged with an eerie, sickly green, deathly energy. What truly shattered my soul was that the faint golden elven divine mark on her forehead, which had been flickering softly, was now darkened across a massive area.
Iris! Wake up. Look at Mommy. Don't scare Mommy.
Sprinting once more toward the Wind Kingdom's infirmary. I slammed the infirmary doors open with immense force. The sitting doctor took one look at the infant in my arms, who was hanging on to life by a mere thread, and his face instantly changed color. His hands trembled as he probed the fluctuations within my daughter's body, his eyes filling with horror.
Heavens! This is the forbidden poison that destroys the mana core! The child's natural core is withering away, inch by inch. She is in critical danger and will not survive past half a month.
The doctor's words were like a massive hammer, smashing my heart to the point where I wished I could die on the spot.
To suppress this aggressive toxin, we must immediately inject a powerful, compatible mana from her father's kingdom to protect her heart path. Otherwise...
Trembling, I closed my eyes, disregarding any cost. I forcibly reversed the remaining essence within my body, frantically activating the soul transmission unique to the elven race. A connection never lightly opened unless it was a matter of life or death.
Rowan, save our daughter! Save our daughter!
From the other end, there was only a deathly silence, followed by a completely heartless rejection. Rowan had actually severed my soul transmission, treating my soul cry for hair entirely as nothing.
Ronan! I beg you. Connect to me. Save Iris.
I knelt on the freezing floor of the infirmary, sending out the soul transmission over and over again, even though maintaining it for every additional second brought a tearing, agonizing pain to my dried-up sea of consciousness. I refused to let go. At this moment, inside the Wind Kingdom's main manor, Ronan was patiently keeping Vanessa and her son company. 3-year-old Jasper, dressed in a luxurious outfit embroidered with green leaves and gold thread, was pulling back a delicate, short wooden mana bow. When he hit the bullseye, it drew bursts of gasps and praise from the surrounding attendants, perhaps perturbed and annoyed by my weeping, blood-soaked pleas that continuously echoed in his mind like an act of self-mutilation after coldly cutting it off over a dozen times. Ronan finally accepted the connection. His phantom projection materialized in midair, looking down at my battered and wretched form from a great height, his eyes filled with absolute impatience and disgust.
Seraphana, haven't you thrown enough of a tantrum? Is the soul transmission something you use as a prop to throw jealous fits?
Ronan, no! Iris has been poisoned. Her mana core is about to shatter, and the doctor said we must have the compatible mana from your body immediately to protect her heart path. I beg you, come and see her.
Poisoned? The moment Vanessa and Jasper move into the main house, you begin fabricating such an absurd lie.
Are you trying to curse my heir?
I am not lying! She is really about to die.
Enough!
I know you are resentful, because you gave birth to a daughter, and your position as the Lord's Concord is insecure. But I am warning you. Do not use a child as an excuse to disturb me.
Jasper has to try on his robes for the dawn celebration in a moment.
I have no time to play mad with you.
Dropping these piercingly cold words, Ronan did not wait for me to utter another syllable before callously cutting off the soul transmission with a wave of his hand. The phantom projection in mid-air dissolved instantly, and along with it, the very last shred of my hope was crushed to pieces. After the soul transmission was severed, Ronan stared at his empty palm, his brow frowned tightly together. Even though he utterly detested Seraphina's jealous fits, he hearing a word like dying still caused a faint, inexplicable wave of irritation and uneasiness to ripple through the depths of his heart. Vanessa, who was watching from the side, keenly captured the shift in Ronan's expression. A flash of panic crossed her eyes, but it was quickly replaced by a profound, calculating look. Vanessa stepped forward gently, consideratively smoothing out the wrinkles on Ronan's robes as she spoke in a strained, high-pitched voice.
Ronan, the primary mistress wept so heartbreakingly during the soul transmission. It has left my heart in a bit of a flutter as well. How about we go to the infirmary to take a look right now? After all, the little princess is also your flesh and blood. We absolutely mustn't let anything terrible happen.
Seeing Vanessa being so magnanimous and understanding, the irritation in Ronan's heart dissipated quite a bit, and he nodded immediately.
Very well. We will do as you say. I want to see what kind of trick she can fabricate.
Then I will go prepare some mana spring water to soothe the child's mind. Wait for me a moment.
Vanessa turned around, and the moment she was at an angle where Ronan could not see her, the tenderness on her face instantly transformed into a twisted, venomous malice. She did not go to prepare any spring water. Instead, she dispatched Trustficent carrying heavy gold mana crystals to secretly bribe the doctor who had received Iris. When Vanessa accompanied Ronan and arrived at the infirmary in a hurried rush, she took advantage of a gap while Ronan was speaking with the nurses outside, using the excuse of checking in, first to stealthily slip into the patient room ahead of him, entirely unnoticed. Staring at the infant on the hospital bed who was hanging on to life by a mere thread, the divine mark on her forehead flickering errantly. She ruthless gleam flashed through Vanessa's eyes. She pulled an advanced, consecutive illusion potion from her sleeve, a formula capable of temporarily suppressing toxicity and forging a false appearance of health. Pinching the little princess's delicate neck, she poured the illusion potion down without the slightest hesitation. The instant the illusion potion entered her mouth, the sickly green deathly energy on the little princess's face began to recede rapidly, and the divine mark that was on the verge of cracking eerily smoothed over. Even her burning body temperature began to return to normal at a rapid pace. Aside from falling into a deep slumber, she looked exactly like a healthy infant who had merely caught an ordinary chill and was sleeping peacefully. The moment Ronan pushed open the door to the patient room, I was collapsed by the bedside, my eyes filled with absolute disbelief as I stared at my daughter. Just moments ago, after Vanessa came in, under a false pretext, the deathly energy on Iris's face suddenly vanished. Even her shriveled, divine mark smoothed out. Ronan stepped forward with a freezing expression. He only touched her forehead. Irisa, her temperature was normal, her breathing was steady. Then he whipped his head around, staring dead at my deathly pale face. His voice was sharp, cutting, and poisoned.
Seraphana!
This is the life-threatening danger you spoke of?
This is the shattered core you claimed?
Her temperature is normal. Her breathing is steady.
As the Lord's Concord, you dared to deceive me. Using your newborn daughter as bait for a jealous tantrum. You disgust me.
Looking at his furious face, my entire body turned cold.
No! Ronan, listen to me! Just moments ago, she was not like this. It was Vanessa! She came in just now. She fed something to Modell.
But Ronan did not believe me for even a second. So I turned to the doctor beside us, as if he were my last saving straw.
Doctor, speak up! You clearly told me. Had been struck by a forbidden poison. You said it was destroying her core, and she would not survive half a month.
But the doctor, who had been pale with terror moments ago, had already accepted Vanessa's massive bribe. He did not dare look at me. Then, syllable by syllable, he pushed me into the abyss.
Reporting to the Lord, the little princess merely caught a bit of a breeze, but there may be double. It is only ordinary discomfort. The primary mistress is unsettled after childbirth, overly sensitive and blowing a small matter out of proportion.
My entire world shattered like a bolt from moments of blue. How could it suddenly change?
Don't scroll away. Click the video link to download Drama Box. Watch all episodes now.